morning and welcome back to the morning commute with Hopi living in the city. I got me a cup of coffee here and I'm just gonna enjoy the ride. So let's go see what's on the news today.
Westbound I10. Actually, that earlier stop and go right at the 101, that actually looks a little better right now. So we're back to about 12-13 minutes on your ride into downtown Phoenix, and the surface streets are still looking very good. Traffic is brought to you by your Valley Toyota dealers. Toyota's Summer Starts Here national sales event. It's going on right now. Choose from the best-selling Toyotas like Camry, 4Runner, RAV4, Tacoma, and much more. Visit your Valley Toyota dealers today. John Roller, KTAR News.
Expecting a high today of 87 degrees with sunny skies. Clear tonight with a low of 64. Sunny with a high of 92 tomorrow. Your weather is brought to you by Howard Air and Plumbing. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air and Plumbing.
So yesterday we brought you the news that more Americans than ever are going to travel by car over Memorial Day weekend, but that air travel wasn't going to be seeing nearly as much growth. Now, is that just because expensive or because of all the troubles we've been hearing about lately?
Joining us is Congressman Greg Stanton of Arizona, who sits on the House Transportation Committee and its Aviation Subcommittee. Congressman, do you feel like people are losing or have lost faith in America's air travel system? Oh, we don't have Congressman. Do we not have Congressman? Oh, okay.
All right, that is good to know. So some of the things that have happened, let's just go over it. We've had the deadly crash in Washington, D.C. between a passenger jet and a military aircraft, plus all of the trouble at Newark, which is a major hub for a lot of people who are trying to travel outside of the country.
Right.
They just can't handle the flights, and their systems are going down. And we've been told that the entire FAA system is just antiquated at this point.
Also, there is not enough air traffic controllers, apparently. And that is one of the reasons I imagine that U.S. Representative Greg Stanton has introduced something called the Air Traffic Controller Workforce Development Act of 2025.
That's a lot, by the way.
Yeah, right. This is apparently bipartisan legislation. It's also being supported by a Republican representative from Alabama and some others. And it is hoping to tackle the nation's air traffic controller staffing shortage. And they say invest in the future of American aviation. Okay, sorry, Congressman, we got you on the line now. I didn't realize we were having technical problems. Do you feel like people have lost faith in America's air travel system?
No, I mean, obviously the air traffic is going up in the United States of America. It is a very popular form with obviously the economy growing post-recession. The number of flights in and out of America's airports, obviously Sky Harbor is busier than ever. So no, I don't feel that the American people have lost faith. They are obviously hearing and reading about incidents, including the terrible incident in DCA in Washington, D.C., the terrible crash that occurred a few months ago. But people generally understand that air travel is still the safest form of travel, much safer than even driving your car on city streets. But they expect leaders, the president and Congress, to work together to constantly improve air travel, improve technology, improve training, and that's what I'm working on in Congress.
So this Air Traffic Controller Workforce Development Act, who else do you have who's signed on to it, and what really does it do if it gets passed?
Well, so first off, Secretary Duffy, Secretary of Transportation, has provided a comprehensive plan to upgrade the air traffic control system. That's different than the bill we're going to talk about, but I do want to talk about that because that is top of mind. And I do plan on working with Secretary Duffy and the administration to get that plan across the finish line. We're going to have a lot of partisan debates in Washington, D.C., and we should have a lot of partisan debates in Washington, D.C. because of a lot of the issues that are going on. But when it comes to air traffic safety, that needs to be a bipartisan issue and treated as with the care and importance that it has in America. Okay, so for the immediate bill that we're talking about that I've introduced, the Air Traffic Control Workforce Development Act, Congressman Nick Begich of Alaska is my partner on it, so it's a bipartisan bill, and it would add significant new resources to add for training opportunities for new pilots. The training, often the cost of training is a significant barrier for people to get into the air traffic control get the resources that they need. We want to help even universities that are in this field of aviation get the support and resources that can have more students, provide more money for things like simulators so that more students can get through in higher level of training, so that when they get to become air traffic controllers, they're trained at the highest level possible. And this is an important issue, but a very difficult issue. Being an air traffic controller is one of the most stressful jobs in America, and we want to provide more mental health support for our traffic controllers. After what's happened in Newark over the last few weeks, this has really put a spotlight on the mental health needs of our traffic controllers, and we need to respond appropriately, respond quickly, so that they have the mental health support that they need.
So you talked about the systems being upgraded. You're working with the FAA administrator on that, getting more air traffic controllers into jobs. Where else do you feel our air travel system needs shoring up, Congressman?
Well, let me give you an example. Right now, the way the Social Security system works, it provides a disincentive for retired air traffic controllers to be able to train the next generation. And many of them are retiring in their late 50s. And so they still have many great work years ahead of them. This bill would actually take down some of those barriers so that people who still have a lot of great work life left can provide training to the next generation of air traffic controllers. Those are the kind of innovative ideas that we need to help upgrade the system and get people involved. Being an air traffic controller is an incredible public service, an incredible career. We need to make sure that they have the pay, the benefits, the mental health services, and the training they need to get into this career and be treated well throughout their career. And we have some work to do in that regard.
Congressman Greg Stanton of Arizona, again, he sits on the House Transportation Committee and the Aviation Subcommittee on the Air Traffic Controller Workforce Development Act.
Coming up in just moments, a pair of notorious parent killers get a judicial break. We'll have the details ahead.
First, John Roller live in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Speaking of air travel, just took a look at Sky Harbor Boulevard coming in from the East Valley. Westbound Sky Harbor Boulevard over by Terminals 4 and 3, looking very good. Seeing the North Valley starting to wake up just a little bit on the 101 eastbound Alafria Freeway. Only a light spot of slowing right around 35th Avenue as you approach the North Stack. Southbound I-17, moderate slowing from Camelback down to Indian School Road. And even the eastbound I-10, we had that earlier stop and go slowing right at the 101 transition ramp as the early folks got their day underway. But looking better at the Stack, you've got a spot of slowing heading into downtown, but still only about 14-15 minutes on your ride in. And the surface streets are still quiet. John Roller, KTAR News.
Sunny today with a high of 87 degrees. Your weather is brought to you by Howard Air and Plumbing. Whether replace or repair, call Howard Air and Plumbing. Jim Sharp here. If you have been injured in a car wreck, if you've been injured on the job, I have a friend who actually had a metal pole fall on his head while he was working. And guess where I sent him? To Berg Simpson. Berg Simpson
Out listener support, a public media organization. And so become a monthly sustaining member at any amount that is right.
All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to comment below. Let us know where you're watching from. And also, if you have any graduates in your family, congratulations. And we'll talk to you later.